What if I told you there's a simple piece of paper that could instantly free up thousands of dollars in your business right now? Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a subject that's absolutely essential for anyone starting a retail or wholesale business, or really anyone who just wants to keep more cash on hand. We're going to master the Massachusetts Resale Certificate, also known as Form ST-4. So let's start with a really critical question. Are you paying completely unnecessary taxes on your inventory? Think about it. If you're buying goods that you plan to turn around and resell, and you're handing over a 6.25% Massachusetts sales tax upfront to your suppliers, you are experiencing totally avoidable margin compression. Sales tax is only supposed to be paid once by the final consumer. Paying it upfront just ties up your hard-earned working capital. So if you're tired of doing that, well, you're in the exact right place. Here's our quick roadmap for today. We'll cover the resale certificate explained, gathering required documents, a step-by-step application guide, legal rules and common pitfalls, real-world scenarios, and finally, some FAQs and next steps. Let's jump right into Section 1, the resale certificate explained. Okay, so what exactly is Form ST-4? Basically, it's a tax exemption document issued by the Massachusetts Department of Revenue. It's your official proof that you're buying items for resale. Now, Massachusetts general laws assume that all gross receipts of a vendor are subject to tax unless proven otherwise. Form ST-4 is how you prove otherwise. By handing this form over, you're legally telling your supplier, hey, don't charge me that 6.25% sales tax because I'm going to collect it from the end user later. Doing this directly improves your profitability and makes your day-to-day cash flow so much easier to manage. Moving right along to Section 2, gathering your required documents. Now, you can't just scribble on an ST-4 on a whim. You've got to gather a few very specific prerequisites first. You need your legal business name and address, your federal EIN, and, this is absolutely crucial, your Massachusetts vendor registration number, which is known as your account ID. You, as the purchaser, must hold a valid Massachusetts vendor registration before you can even issue this certificate. You'll also need to figure out exactly how to describe your specific type of business and provide a highly detailed description of the property you actually intend to resell. All right, Section 3, our step-by-step application guide. Here is the exact playbook you need to follow. Step 1, you're going to register for your Massachusetts Sales and Use Tax Permit on Mass Tax Connect. This is how you get that account ID we just mentioned. Step 2, download Form ST-4 directly from the Department of Revenue website. Step 3, fill out all the fields accurately. And Step 4, pay attention here because people get this wrong all the time. You do not submit the ST-4 back to the state. No, you hand it directly to your supplier at the time of purchase so they can keep it in their permanent tax records. Let's actually look at the blank Form ST-4 you'll be working with. Notice the layout here. Up at the top, that's where your purchaser information goes, including that account ID. Right below that, in the middle, you must put the vendor's exact name and address. You want to double-check that those names and addresses match official records. The last thing you want is a cautious supplier rejecting your certificate over a silly typo. Now check out this properly filled out example. The biggest takeaway here? Specificity. Look at the middle section where it asks for the type of tangible personal property. You literally cannot just write goods or stuff. If you're a manufacturer, like in this example, you write something like metals and industrial products manufacturer and distributor of packaging, roll form steel, tubular, and pressure vessel products. Vague terms will absolutely get your certificate flagged and rejected during an audit because the state has to verify that what you bought actually aligns with your real business. Right down at the bottom of the form, you'll spot two checkboxes, single purchase certificate and blanket certificate. A single purchase certificate is, well, exactly what it sounds like. It covers one isolated, one-off transaction. But a blanket certificate? That is a real game changer. If you check that box, the certificate covers all future qualifying purchases from that specific vendor. It saves you a massive amount of paperwork if you're, say, ordering from the same wholesaler every single week. Okay, Section 4, legal rules and common pitfalls. I need to point this out because it is super serious. Right on the form it says, quote, signed under the penalties of perjury. No joke. If you purchase items tax-free using the certificate and then use them for personal consumption or just general business operations, like, say, buying a new laptop for your office, you are committing tax evasion. Willful misuse of this certificate can lead to criminal sanctions. We're talking up to 1 year in prison and fines of up to $10,000 for individuals or $50,000 for corporations. So yeah, definitely keep it strictly to resold items. So how do you stay totally compliant? First, vendors have to accept these certificates in good faith. meaning they shouldn't accept an ST4 for commercial restaurant equipment if they know the buyer runs a shoe store. Record keeping is also huge. Both buyers and sellers have to keep these records for at least 3 years, since that's the general statute of limitations for Massachusetts tax audits. Also, while the ST4 doesn't technically expire, sellers really should verify the buyer's registration annually on Mass Tax Connect. If a buyer's registration gets revoked, their certificate is instantly invalid. Oh, and one more thing. Massachusetts does not accept out-of-state resale certificates for standard in-state transactions. Let's move to Section 5, Real-World Business Scenarios. Let's make this concrete. Say you're a clothing retailer. You can absolutely buy apparel from a wholesaler tax-free because you are going to resell it. But store display racks? No way. You consume those as part of operating your business, so you pay tax on them. A wholesaler can buy bulk goods tax-free, but they definitely have to pay tax on their office computers. And what about a service provider, like a plumber? Well, they might buy repair parts that are directly transferred to the client tax-free, but they still have to pay tax on the wrenches and tools they use to perform the service. Applying the certificate to those ineligible items is a major pitfall, so be careful. And finally, Section 6, FAQs and next steps. Let's knock out some common questions. We touched on this just a second ago, but the definitive answer is no. If you're an out-of-state business coming into Massachusetts to buy goods for resale, you can't just hand the vendor your home state certificate. You generally have to register for a Massachusetts sales and use tax account and issue a proper Massachusetts Form ST-4. You will be thrilled to hear that there is currently zero cost to register for a seller's permit in Massachusetts. Registering on Mass Tax Connect to get your account ID, which, remember, is the prerequisite for using the ST4, is completely 100% free. So, what's the big takeaway here? It's time to take action. If you're starting a new business or you're currently bleeding cash by paying upfront sales tax on your inventory, head over and register on Mass Tax Connect today. Get your account ID, download Form ST-4, and start handing it to your suppliers. Honestly, it is one of the most direct ways you can optimize your cash flow right now. Quick disclaimer before we wrap up. This explainer is strictly for informational purposes and does not constitute legal or tax advice. We highly recommend consulting a tax professional, a compliance service, or just reaching out directly to the Massachusetts Department of Revenue for guidance on your specific business setup. I want to leave you with one final thought to chew on. How much capital could you unlock this year by paying literally zero upfront sales tax on your inventory? By taking a few minutes to understand and properly execute this Massachusetts resale certificate, you're not just doing boring paperwork, you are actively funding your own business growth. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.